Let me move on to introduce to you two more miners. The first miner is YM miner. In Chinese we say yummy miners, or you can say it's a very, very yummy miner. The reason why I talk about this miner is because a few days ago I asked some of my really good friends whom I think are really, really deep into mining here in China, hey guys, what do you think should be a miner that can have less than 14 months ROI? Mr. Bitcoin Watch simply says no. There is no such a miner. Then I asked him, what about yummy miners that are 2100 and 2400 megahash? And he said yes. And I also asked this question to another friend of mine that's actively doing mining. He says it's yummy miner. Yummy in Chinese literally means Asian rice. So I hope this kind of Asian rice will be a really good option for your food feeding into your mining operation. Okay, the flagship models of these yummy miners are 2100 megahash and 2400 megahash. My personal suggestion is going for this 2100 megahash version. Why? Because I heard that there's a little bit of underperformance against these specs. I was told the sellers of these yummy miners guarantee only 2200 megahash for the 2400 model. But in the meantime, for the 2100 yummy machines, the sellers can guarantee 2050 megahash. So that's much less underperformance. In this way, the per megahash cost for the 2100 megahash model is lower. Okay, so this yummy miner seems to be a really, really yummy option. However, I also think there are two concerns. The first concern is about the shift between proof of work to proof of stake. The Ethereum may no longer be available for mining with this miner, and you will have to mine Ethereum Classic only with this machine. The second concern is the Yummy company or Yummy brand is actually a very, very small brand. We don't know if we can get as good support from them as we can do from Bitmain, because I have personally observed this problem with some other smaller brands, including the coin miner. Although I seem to be promoting the coin miner in a very, very big way in some of my most viewed videos, I personally think the coin miner is not as good as an option as Antminers and Watts miners on the present day. At this present moment, all of these best miners have much better cost than before. So that's the same thing with Yummy miners. When you enjoy a much better ROI with the Yummy miner, you also shoulder the risk of having everything else less reliable than these bigger brands. Okay, the second miner I'd like to introduce to you is Avalon Miners. The reason why I introduced to you this miner is also because Avalon Miner company reached out to me in the last few days, and I'm only just passing you their message. I try to become this ambassador between these manufacturers and all of you guys. The Avalon Miner company told me they were the first miner company that went public, and they were also the first miner company that used the mass-produced 7 nanometers chip in 2018. They try to tell me this means something huge. Do you think this is also something huge? Let me know in the comment section. And the third point he wants me to pass to you is that the Avalon miners have always been very, very stable in terms of quality and cost. I mean, you look at the Antminers, their price has been very, very unstable, right? But when it comes to Avalon miners, their cost is very, very stable and also very, very low as compared with both Antminers and Watts miners. So that's with Avalon's words. But even based on my personal experience, is a famous brand only second to Antminers and Watts miners. So it's like they're player number 3 in these Bitcoin miner brands. Okay, we're finished with the introduction of these two miners. Let me proceed to give you a few updates on some of these miners that I covered in my previous videos. The first miner is Goldshell Miner. So this morning, Goldshell company sent me a new price list. It's actually lower than before. I didn't read all these numbers, but I can tell you at least for Goldshell, KD Box Pro has decreased in terms of price by at least $150 US. And I also tried to ask this guy, hey, Mr. Goldshell, what do you think of this big crash in the crypto world? Well, he didn't give me any analysis into what caused this crash, but he admitted to me that their miners are not popular at this current stage. He says the market right now is looking more for these Ethereum miners and also Helium miners, which have a higher ROI in this darkest time. What's your opinion? Which miner do you think can withstand the biggest test? Okay, the second miner I'd like to talk about is iPollo miners. So also this morning, my contact point from iPollo told me their delivery time for some of these miners have become better. At the same time, the iPollo miners have also decreased a little bit in terms of price, and they're probably gonna decrease even more in the following days. I mean, in one of my previous videos, I told you guys iPollo does a very bad job in delivering miners on time. I don't know, maybe they also think the Bitcoin is going to crash even more, so they want to sell as many miners that they have as possible. Another message from iPollo is that it seems on their side, the most popular iPollo miners have been these mini miners. The reason is there seems to be in the market a preference or a trend toward these silent, low-cost and home miners. I think this could be a sign there will be more and more people finally starting to mine. Okay, the last miner I would like to give you an update on is Antminers. So the most popular Antminers have always been these S19 series. Is there a price down? Yes, there is already a little bit of a drop, but not a big one. At the same time, I also want to pass you a very important information. It seems these scalpers or miner distributors have better prices than the Bitmain company for these brand new S19 miners. I don't know the reason why, but that's the reality. So if you happen to want to get some of these S19 series miners, maybe buying from these middlemen instead of the manufacturer may be a better choice. Okay, whatever crashed has crashed, and it's probably gonna crash more. However, I personally think this might be something good for mining. Why? Because it's possible that we're gonna have these miners at a much cheaper price in the next few weeks or months. It's like finally they're gonna give us some bigger response to this crash in cryptos. In this way, these old miners can buy more miners at a cheaper cost, so they can make their mining operation finally a little bit more profitable, or finally profitable, or at least they can have a better ROI than before. And also with this big crash in the Bitcoin, and also potentially this big crash in the crypto miners price, there are probably going to be a lot more new miners to be born. There will be more and more players coming to do this mining. Am I right? I'm not saying people are stupid, but there probably are going to be more and more FOMOs that will be finally taking the first step into mining. This might be something good for mining and for Bitcoin. Okay, maybe this is pretty much for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.